you wake up in the morning and you know that's not Thursday, it's Fridays with Mike. Fridays with Mike. When you wake up on Saturday, you gotta wait another week for Fridays with Mike. Fridays with Mike. Fridays with Mike.
Hello, Central. It is Fridays with Mike with your host, Mike. I'm here in my home in North Minneapolis, and as you can see, during quarantine, I haven't really been shaving, and as you can see, I'm a person who really should shave because I don't grow great facial hair, not like Ryan or Ben, who have great beards. Mine's kind of this patchy disaster, but the only person I have to impress is my wife, and we're already married, so I don't have to impress her anymore. So I was going to show you a little bit of behind the scenes as to how I make the music for our Sunday morning services. Looks like my wife is here. This is Wendy and Holmes. This is Holmes, the dog, and this is Wendy, the person.
She's cute.
And Holmes is the cutest dog in the whole wide world. And yes, she is named after Sherlock Holmes, and our other dog, he's named Watson, and he's a pug. And he's a little camera shy, so we're not going to really show him too much. Anyway, what we're going to do is I'm going to take you behind the scenes. So I'm going to flip the camera around, and you are going to get a look at what I look at throughout the week. Okay, so this is a song file, and the one song that people have been asking me about the most is Glorious Day. So what you see here is sort of what music looks like, but this is what it looks like digitally. So instead of seeing all the lines and notes, you're actually seeing the waveforms after they've been produced. So in this program that I use, this is what is called the sequencer. This is where all of the music kind of lives. And there is what is called the rack. This is the rack. This is where all of the instruments are and all the effects and stuff. And then if you guys have ever seen our sound person, Carl Solander, in the back of the sanctuary, this is what he's looking at. In each one of these strips right here, like if this is Mike's trance, so that's a type of synth, this is controlling one of these lines. So this right here, which is called, this is the bass line. This is controlled by this over here. So I'll point at it. So this line right here, the orange here, corresponds to the orange mixing thing right there. So, and I like to do the music like I like Italian cooking, made from scratch, if you know what I'm talking about. It's just not as good out of the box, and neither is music. So I make all the music for Sundays from scratch. And I made this one from scratch. So I'm just going to kind of bring you through just a couple of things. So I'll just give you some quick stats. There are 2 bass lines. There are 4 percussion lines. There are 3 drum sets. There are 2 synth pads. There are 3 lines of effects. There are 4 different claps happening. There's a piano track. There's 3 vocal lines. There's 4 lead lines and 2 acoustic guitar lines. And then at the very end, I added 5 of myself singing I Ran Out of That Grave. So that's kind of some of the general stats of what's going on. So I'm just going to kind of bring you in on 2 or 3 specific things. So the very first thing is I kind of had this idea for this different kind of drum feel. Instead of just doing like a basic rock beat, like a dun dun ka dun 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 ka, I wanted to do like a boom ka ka boom ka dun ka ka dun ka, sort of inspired by like a drum line, like a stomp type thing. So here's what this. I gotta unmute some stuff real quick here so that you can actually hear what's going on. So. Okay, so here is what the intro sounds like. So you can hear me kind of implying that drum thing with the doon get doon get doon get. I'm gonna shut off the reverb real quick. so that we don't get that sound. So what reverb is when, if you've ever been in the sanctuary alone and you say your name and it sounds like it's like kind of reverberating or echoing, and it makes it just sound really big, or like this is why you like to sing in the shower, because of reverb. So I'm kind of implying that doom gat gat boom gat with the bass, and then it comes in a little bit later, and then you can hear it. Dig-a-doom gat gat, dig-a-dat, dig-a-doom gat gat. So I got 3 drum sets. That's just 2 of the drum sets. So, that kind of happens, and it does all that whole thing. And then this is kind of the cool part of the song, which this is sort of popular now in modern pop music, where you have this like instrumental break after the chorus. So normally we have what we call either like the hook or the riff, like the main riff or whatever. And in modern pop music now, a lot of the times, we're kind of moving that to after the chorus. So I wanted to do this thing where I have the riff, and the main riff is this bam bam ba-dum bam ba-de-dum. And I came up with that line, and I wanted to find something fun to do it with. So what I did is I actually took my voice, and I took a little clip of it, and I turned it into what we call a sample. And when you turn it into a sample, then you can play it as a synth. So that's actually my voice. But it's just like chopped up, so it sounds like this synth. So here is that main riff right here. And then I have that doubled with something it sort of emulates this like 8-bit, which is like the sound card that would have been in an old Atari. So here's what it sounds like. So doubled, you get this. And then what I did is I put on the outside, I put these synths, this kind of like cascading line, and I kind of took this idea from a song that came out a couple years ago by the band Coldplay called Adventure of a Lifetime, and their lead guitar player plays this like kind of cascading line, and I've always liked that, and I kind of decided to take that and tuck it in, and that one sounds like this. So when you play all those together, it sounds like this. And then you add in that drum beat of like the doom cat 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 cat, right? And you got the shaker and the tambourine, and you've got all these claps going, and the guitar and everything. Then you get this. Your glorious day. So that's pretty cool. So the last thing I want to show you is sort of the bridge section. So the bridge section is actually where we finally introduce the 3 different drum sets going on. So the 3 different drum sets sound like this. And I kind of like that like marchy thing. It kind of gives it some motion. And then the final thing I want to show you is this. So this is the vocal tracks. So you can hear, as embarrassing as this is going to be, this is just me singing. I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, but chains break at the weight of your glory. So now the reason why there's 3 vocal lines is because this is a technique that I sort of stole from a singer some of you may know. His name is Andy Gibb, and Andy Gibb is hopefully I'm not screwing this up, but Andy Gibb is the lead singer of the disco sensation band out of the 70s, the Bee Gees. Or is it Barry Gibb? I don't know. It's a Gibb, one of the Gibbs. I forget which one's the lead singer. Anyway, I was doing a project for a band where I was learning all of the vocal parts and re-recording them for them so that they could reproduce it live. And it was so frustrating because I thought I was hearing something, and I thought I was hearing something, and then I would go, I'd go in and I'd listen, and I was hearing something different. And then what I realized is that what he would do is he would sing the main line, and then he would like double it or maybe even triple it. And he would make these small, he would make each line sort of idiosyncratic so that it would kind of create this texture where it just sounded really cool. And I really, really liked that. So I took it so that it kind of creates this kind of like beautiful mess. And this is kind of what it ends up sounding like.
When I was broken, you were my healing. Now your love is the air that I breathe in. I have a future, my eyes are open. I ran out of that grave.
So it's not like a harmony line because I'm not like singing it in rhythm. And it's not like a counter melody because I'm not writing it to be harmonically harmonically correct with the melody line. I'm just kind of like almost improvising the melody line. But you can't perfectly tell when it all comes together. So here's what this bridge sounds like all together.
I needed rescue, my sin was heavy, when shades break at the way of your glory. I needed shelter.
You get all these drums building and building and building. Here's where everything comes in.
When I was broken, you were my healing. And love is the air I breathe in. I have a future, my eyes are open.
So anyway, that is the Glorious Day track. All right, everybody, that was a little sneak peek. Maybe next week we'll take a look at the video editing process that I use to create the videos for Sunday mornings, and can kind of show you I use two different programs to complete the edits, and I can kind of walk you through some of the basic effects that I use and where I get the text and all of that stuff and how I put it all together, and then where it goes on the YouTube channel. And then after that, that's when Anna takes over and does her magic and makes all the text look great and make sure it's all scheduled and stuff like that. So anyway, so this has been a Fridays with Mike with your host, Mike. Have a great weekend.